Welcome to Mr. V. I'm your host, Tom.
I'm Ethan.
And I'm Josh.
There are no announcements today, so let's get right into the weather. To you, Josh.
Hello, everybody. This morning we will be in the 17, and our high will be in the 29 for today. There's 3% chance of precipitation, so I hope you have a great weekend. The weather will really turn on Monday. To you, Ethan.
Thanks, Josh. Today's multiple choice question is, what is the largest active volcano in the world? Is it A, Mount Vesuvius, B, Mount Fuji, C, Mauna Loa, or D, Mount
Kilimanjaro?
We'll give you 10 seconds. If you said Mauna Loa, you were correct. You thought it was Kilimanjaro because I added the sound effect.
Very funny. Mauna Loa is located on the biggest island of Hawaii, approximately dubbed Big Island. Despite the size of the island, only 13% of Hawaiian population lives there, and that is most likely because Mauna Loa itself.
It is documented in history that Mauna Loa erupted 33 times, and the last eruption was 38 years ago in 1984. But recently, there have been earthquakes in the area, and it indicates that an eruption is going to happen soon.
Today's special segment is called Malevolent and Macabre Mysteries Through History. In this segment, I will be presenting to all of you and these two what's essentially the Cliff Notes version of an unsolved mystery that has appeared through history. And then we will just simply, after I simply present, we'll just talk about what we think could have happened.
So what is the unsolved mystery, Ethan?
Today, I thought I'd go with a very famous one. I don't know if you've heard of him. His name's Jack the Ripper.
Never heard of him.
Neither have I.
So according to this website right here that I have in front of me, in 1888, Jack the Ripper killed at least 5 women in London, mutilating their bodies. A number of letters supposedly from the Ripper were sent to the police, taunting officers' efforts to find the Ripper. And that is where the name Jack the Ripper actually came from.
Yeah.
Needless to say, the Ripper was never found, and over the years, dozens of people have been brought up as possible suspects and candidates to be the killer. In a 2012 book called Jack the Ripper, The Hand of a Woman, John Morris suggests that a woman named Lizzie Williams was the Ripper, although other Ripper experts cast doubt on it. It appears unlikely that the true identity of the Ripper will ever be known for sure. We had to cut so I can get my Dr. Pepper. As I was saying, what do you guys think of the idea of a woman being the Ripper?
I mean, so the target was mostly street prostitutes, and you know, it doesn't really seem like a woman would kill street prostitutes that harshly, but
hear me out. What if her husband cheated on her with the street prostitute, so she's out for vengeance? Batmaning.
But anyways.
I actually have another article open right here, and a few little things about Jack the Ripper, a few more things. It has a top sections thing right here, top questions. One of the first ones I opened is the identity of Jack the Ripper known? And it says here, Jack the Ripper is famous in part because his identity is unknown. For years, people have speculated about his identity. Commonly cited suspects include Montague Druitt, a barista, and a teacher with an interest in surgery. Michael Ostrog, a Russian criminal and psychiatrist, I think that says, and Aaron Komansky, a Polish immigrant who lived in Whitechapel.
What's your thoughts on this, Josh?
Oh, I'm thinking that, what if Jack the Ripper was actually like a small group? Like, let's say the barista and the teacher were actually in cahoots together, and the barista actually just started...
The barista
would start killing them.
The barista and teacher are the same person.
We found who they are.
Next, under top questions, we have, who were Jack the Ripper's victims? Now, this is associated with a third actually, article I have open. The first part, the one on this website, says there are 5 canonical victims of Jack the Ripper, being Marianne Nichols, who was found on August 31st, 1888, Annie Chapman, who was found on September 8th, 1888, Elizabeth Stride, who was found on September 30th, 1888. This one is a little weird. And Catherine Eddowes, who was also found on September 30th, 1888. And Mary Jane Kelly, who was found on November 9th, 1888. All victims were prostitutes. All the corpses were mutilated. But here's the thing, actually. On another website, here's something a little weird. It states, I'm not going to read the whole thing, because that's what this entire article is essentially about.
Yeah.
But there are 5 canonical victims. The strange thing is, the official police file, the generic one, has 11 victims named.
It's kind of like that's kind of like with most murderers. Like they have these named victims, but then they're ones that they claim that they have more or something like that. But here's the thing: Jack was never caught, so how would we know the official body report? But that does bring up a good point. Were the rest of the victims that are supposed, were they women?
Yes. As far as I believe, all the others were women. I haven't read through the entire thing. It states every person in here, but it's a good length article.
So what do you think? Like what do you think it could possibly be?
I'm not entirely sure. I think overall it's a strange case. I do believe I have one more of these open, and this one is what was unique about the murders committed by Jack the Ripper. And it states, all of Jack the Ripper's victims were prostitutes, and all but one were killed while soliciting customers on the street. In each instance, the victims' throats were cut, and the body was mutilated in a manner indicating that the murderer had at least some knowledge of the human anatomy.
So the teacher?
Possibly.
So the teacher.
We have to remember, I only mentioned 4 out of possible hundreds or thousands of possibilities.
Now, who were the so I remember the one who who had an interest for surgery, but who else were the other suspects?
So there was the one I mentioned earlier, the idea of a female, but the other 2 were Michael Ostrog, a Russian criminal and psychiatrist, and Aaron Kominsky, a Polish immigrant who lived in Whitechapel.
What we have come to the thing is, so there's a woman who was suspected, and her
and she was started being suspected back in 2005. By the way,
her husband was a doctor, and from what we have heard, Jack the Ripper himself or themselves. Okay, so the husband of
the suspect
the wife
is the suspect is Lizzie Williams, and in 16ish years before the killings, she married a doctor. Jack the Ripper was someone who was stated as having a at least basic understanding of the human anatomy. So we've come to the conclusion that it could possibly have been Lizzie Williams as the main mastermind behind the entire thing, and she used her husband to help kill the people.
And what I was just about to say is, quite possibly, here's what could have happened. In the first kill, him and his wife were going down to a place one time, and a prostitute may have hit on her husband. She obviously did not like this, and later possibly could have killed that person. Well, later her husband finds out, and then they decide to go cahoots together to kill prostitutes. Just what I'm thinking. But what are you thinking?
I guess I gotta go with what you said.
What do you think, Josh?
I think it's somewhere along those lines, but instead of a prostitute hitting on her husband or something like that, I just find that they think they're cleaning out the streets or purging their land or something like that.
Like there's that thing with some type of murderers where they're like, all right, we're murdering, but we're cleaning up the filth. I think there's
But also, there's some sort of adrenaline/sex drive to murdering somebody with your partner.
True. But so yeah, that could be it. But anyways, I think that's about it for this segment. So, anyways, that's it for this episode of Moose TV. We will see you guys next time.
Moose TV signing out.